the empiricist route to liberal determinism. Let's now look at the empiricist route to a more nuanced version of reductionism. And let's recall that the understanding side of science is important for rationalists, while for empiricists, the prediction and control side is more important. A prominent spokesperson for the empiricists is Gilbert Ryle, and his student Daniel Dennett. An example of the contrast with the rationalist is Dennett's view that it's legitimate for people to adopt what he calls the intentionalist stance to deal with the behavior of others versus the eliminative materialist insistence on abolishing folk psychology. Ryle advocated a version of philosophical behaviorism insofar as his ambition was to get rid of traditional ideas about mind and consciousness. Ryle invented the slogan, "the ghost in the machine." He also called Cartesian dualism the official doctrine. Ryle saw all talk about mental states as a category mistake. By a category mistake, Ryle meant a way of talking about something which, while it might be useful as a shortcut in certain contexts, fundamentally misunderstood the phenomenon in question. He gave the example of a foreigner asking to be shown Oxford University. When he had been shown all the colleges, research institutes, sports facilities, etc., which in reality compose this very complex institution, he inquired, "Yes, but where is the university?" thus demonstrating his lack of understanding of its real nature. In the same way, Ryle believed, treating mind and consciousness as real things was a category mistake which failed to understand their true nature. In line with the dominant linguistic tradition of British philosophy at the time, Ryle believed that analyzing and correcting the way one used language could be used as a therapy to avoid making category errors. There's a passage in Ryle which, I believe, illustrates the rationalist-empiricist dichotomy. It concerns a man accused of shooting someone. Ryle considers the sort of questions that can be asked about how and why the gun fired, both in terms of how guns work and how human beings work. Quote, "Men are not machines, they are men." People often ask such questions as, how does my mind get my hand to make the required movements? And even, what makes my hand do what my mind tells it to do? Questions of these patterns are properly asked of certain chain processes. The question, what makes the bullet fly out of the barrel, is properly answered by the expansion of gases in the cartridge. So when it is asked, how does my mind get my finger to squeeze the trigger, the form of the question presupposes that a further chain process is involved, embodying still earlier tensions, releases, and discharges, though this time mental ones. But the performance of it has to be described in just the same way as in ordinary life we describe the squeezing of the trigger by the marksman. Namely, we simply say, he did it, and not he did or underwent something else which caused it. Men are not machines. Quote, many rationalist reductionists would, I believe, flatly contradict this. To them, human beings are machines in the form of biocomputers. Ryle seems to claim that, asking, how does my mind get my finger to squeeze the trigger, is an improper question. This seems to be an early invocation of Dennett's intentional stance, i.e., of treating others as responsible agents when judging their behavior.